Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we're going to be talking about a touchy subject around the entire XRP community, and that is the question, were we betrayed? Because honestly, as we really kind of focus on the big picture, I'm sure that you guys are all aware that Flair has officially launched. Now, the biggest thing was around FIP01. Now, for all of those individuals out there, this was already a thing that we knew about since going back to around August. I'm pretty sure that FIPO1 got announced back in August, and they were planning it since August. They were telling us everything around it. But what happened just recently is the big thing that caused a ton of hatred to be thrown towards the Flair side in terms of their team, as well as even community members as well. Now, we will go in depth on everything happening around this. One thing that I will like to note is that, for the most part, XRP community members and XRP individuals think that the XRP community was utilized for a hype direction towards Flare. Now, in my opinion, I think every XRP holder out there, I think that everyone that was holding, XRP at the time of the airdrop, when we were initially going to get it and all that, I think everybody was prepared for Flare to launch and become this massive thing for XRP and XRP specifically. Since then, we have learned that it's not really, all around XRP. A lot of people believe that they leverage the XRP community for hype and all that kind of stuff, which again, I can't go in depth on. I'm not going to tell you guys my opinion on that just because again, it doesn't really matter. My opinion does not matter. What matters is the facts here, right? So a lot of what we were seeing around hype with Flare was around XRP. For an example, a lot of people utilize this quote from Brad Garlinghouse going all the way back to August of 2020. Everyone was anticipating the major airdrop announcement of Flare because, it got built up for over roughly now 3 years. And when it launched, did the community like it? We don't know, right? Because honestly, airdrops kind of look like this until we get some sort of price action. Seems like Flare kind of just stayed within like the 4 cent zone. I know initially on we got it down to like 3.5 cents or so. I know on some exchanges it was down to like 2 cents. But now we are sitting at roughly 4 cents. The biggest thing that I have with this, and the biggest problem that I have with Flare itself, and I even warned everybody about this as well, going back to as early on as possible. I think it was like 2021 when I was really kind of talking about it. I said stay away from the IOU. So a lot of people were like, when we go over to the IOU price, for an example, here you guys have the reason why I said stay away from it. So nobody knew what Flare was going to launch at. Honestly, Flare could have launched at 1 cent, for an example. Um, but everyone was just anticipating the launch. Now, the biggest problem that I have with Flare and the IOU is the FTSOs were selling off massive amounts, and we will get into that. We will talk about it. Now, as you guys do see, this was trading as high as almost 46 cents back here in May of 2021. That means individuals from the community, around the XRP community, that were believing in Flare so much were buying here, buying here, buying up here, buying here, and they were all buying during this entire time frame here. So let's actually address a few things around this. So Flare was getting close to launch around this time, and for those individuals that bought Flare, you're almost down 100%. And on this candle stick here, you were down 97.7% over a year. Oh, well, sorry, not over a year. Overall, in terms of the time frame here, you're down 99.63% at the lows, and you're down about 98.97%. This chart almost looks horrific for anybody who is buying IOUs. Now, will Flare go up? Will Flare go to $5, $10, $20? Who knows, right? I'm not here to talk about the price predictions on Flare. In my opinion, I don't like the tokenomics of Flare, to be 100% real with you guys. You guys know me. I like to have tokenomics that are pretty sustainable. These tokenomics look rough. and the inflation on it looks rough as well. Now, am I saying not to invest in Flair or anything? No, I'm just saying I personally don't like tokenomics like this. But we will address a few things. So the biggest thing that happened was mainly a little bit of a discussion from OZ Crypto 2 over on Twitter. He made a few videos of it as well. And Hugo even gave some props to him. And he said that he's doing an important job for the ecosystem. This kind of scrutiny needs to be, a constant presence in the ecosystem and all that kind of stuff. But yes, in terms of what was happening, mainly it was around BitTrue and FTSOs selling of Flair. And it happened at pre-launch. So we've seen a ton of bad actors, and we actually have the list over here from OZ Crypto 2. Here is the list of the FTSOs whose wallets transferred their Flair to BitTrue and sold before it was available to the public. More to be confirmed in the coming day or so, and here are all of them. Some were already kind of disclosed, but yeah, this was insane. So this was most of them that were offloading their entire Flair amounts, about half of their Flair amounts as well. And I'm not too sure on the correlation between price. I'm not too sure on what really happened, but all we know in terms of value is that it really kind of started here. And again, was it the IOU that got completely hammered through this, or was it just a flare price? We have no idea, but they were selling before it was available to public, which in my opinion is pretty scummy. And I don't like to be that guy, and I don't like to call out a lot of things like that around this market unless it's like, fully confirmed. This has been confirmed. FTSOs were acting in the wrong way, and I really do think that this is something very interesting. Now, also another thing around this that a lot of people do not like as well, that we've kind of addressed slightly in the past as well, which I've always said like this could happen, is the betrayal, right? So we do see Ripple CTO Joel Katz, David Schwartz, accuse Flair of leveraging the XRP community for growth before weakening its commitment when it no longer felt it needed its members. The XRP community is the only reason Flair is on major exchanges like Binance from the very start. And yeah, I mean, am I going to say it's 100% true? I mean, listen, XRP holders that got the airdrop, I'm sure that you guys are probably all aware of FIP and what it really means for you. It means that our amounts that we got airdropped and the original snapshot was only for basically the 15% that got distributed. After that, things kind of changed. We will talk about that. We will address it. And we do see over here, Flair founder speaks out about betrayal. So Hugo did address this. Again, this is with the FIP 01 proposal. And here we have a little bit of a discussion around this. So the proposal aims to improve the token distribution model and reduce inflation while encouraging participation in the network. Hugo begins by acknowledging how this proposal may make some people feel betrayed by Flair. He then seeks to explain that their intention is not to ignore these feelings, but instead address the prior model's issues to facilitate a smoother redistribution of the tokens from those who don't want them long term to those who do. Now, again, the CEO of Flair then emphasized that XRP holders exclusively received Flair for simply holding it, and Flair has been the only major VC-backed project building around the XRP ecosystem. And then we do see Hugo provide additional insight into just how difficult it has been for him to convince venture capitalists of their commitment towards XRP-related endeavors in order for them to receive funding. However, he stated his faith in FIP 01, despite adversity, as he believed that if he executed correctly, it could provide value to the entire industry and maybe even expand it entirely. Then that's when we did see David Schwartz, really kind of voice his opinion with this. In my opinion, are we going to sit here and criticize it and really kind of talk down on it? I mean, listen, you can say whatever you want. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this. In my opinion, do I feel like I got betrayed? Well, I got airdrop tokens, so I got something for free of value. I'm not going to get stingy with it. I'm not going to sit here and complain about it. I mean, we did see a massive vote around this proposal. This is where things get a little bit tricky, though, because a lot of people were talking about this and really kind of addressing this. And I say if, because this is not confirmed yet, if these FTSOs were holding significant amounts of Flair and they were able to vote, which, yes, they were, then this entire vote was most likely centralized. But in the case that it wasn't, then hey, this is great. Now, I ask you, would you vote yes or would you vote against this proposal? Because the proposal is outlined. They have the full-on proposal outlined. Like I said, this got announced back in August of 2022, so last year. Um, Everybody was aware of this proposal. Everybody, knew about this proposal. This breaks everything down within this article, talking about the initial 15% of Flare tokens. This equates to about almost 3 billion. And we're at like 10.9 billion right now, most likely due to staking rewards and all that kind of stuff. But this is where they do talk about most of it. So distribute the remaining tokens, accounting to about roughly 24.2 billion Flare monthly in uniform increments over 36 months to those who wrap their Flare tokens. Now, a lot of people are concerned about wrapping their tokens, which I really don't understand the confusion around that. With Songbird, for an example, if you got the Songbird airdrop, you also had to wrap your Songbird to stake it. So, I mean, I get it, I understand it, but hey, it is what it is. Reduce the current inflation scheme of 10% per annum. Calculate it on the total fully diluted supply of Flare to about 10% in year one, 7% in year two, 5% in year three onwards, with a cap of 5 billion Flare tokens per year. Again, very, very similar. Now, again, with all of this in mind, it really is just focused on the dilution. But the biggest thing that got really blown out of proportion was just mainly the idea of like screwing the XRP community. Now, I get it because David Schwartz was the one that mentions it. There's a lot of information in here, by the way, and here you guys have the airdrop recipient receiving 1 billion tokens under current redistribution or distribution plan. This is basically them talking about everything happening around this. But nonetheless, I understand everybody's concerns because as we do like really kind of look at David Schwartz and his voice of power around the XRP community and all that kind of stuff, he does have a very strong voice, he does have a very strong opinion, and he has a very strong reputation. So I completely get it, I completely understand it. Now, just to be fully transparent with you guys, I'm not buying Flare. I don't plan on buying Flare. I am fine with my Flare airdrop and my even Songbird airdrop. Is it a mistake not to buy? Who knows? Time will tell. The only thing that I don't personally like about everything that has gone on is just the idea of the airdrop and how it was managed, everything from start to finish. A lot of it was definitely concerning in terms of the motives and stuff. There's a lot of things that got wishy and washy with the team, and honestly, to me personally, the 15% that we got with like the additional remaining supply, mainly a lot of people are focused on that. More so, I would argue, just focus on what they are doing, focus on what they are building, focus on their movements going forward. In my opinion, like what we did see around the FIP01, update and everything around it, I think that this is great. I think mainly a lot of people were concerned that we're holding XRP and waiting for this airdrop for over 2 years now. Mainly, you guys were concerned around like the negatives within like the 2020 snapshot participants list, which was Flare must be wrapped to receive the full and final distribution. Depending on participation, you may end up with less than expected under the 2020 snapshot. Which this again, a lot of what we are seeing, like this change here, is because they are incentivizing those individuals that are participating on the network and even the new ecosystem entrants. So the biggest thing was XRP holders that were waiting for so long were kind of annoyed because we were expecting to have our full, airdrop amounts, but now we're seeing a lot of incentivizing going towards new participants as well as network participants as well. Now, hey, again, am I mad about this? No, not really. I mean, honestly, with me, with any airdrop, I accept it, I accept the value, and I go on with my day. Because it's all free at the end of the day, I'm not going to get mad, I'm not going to get upset. The only thing that gets me upset is what's happening with the FTSOs because they were able to sell before the public. This should never happen. This is actually a very, very bad example of what's wrong with a lot of these major projects and networks is having things like this happen. Now, again, how can you avoid this? It's hard to say because again, like there's a lot of players that were a part of this. I would argue as a community, the way to fight this is to not stake at all with any of these confirmed FTSOs, and basically, avoid them at all costs. That's what you could really do as a, community member. What Flair can possibly do is blacklist them or some sort of just anything to get rid of these players. I would love to see them delist it from the Bifrost platform. That would be a great thing as well. But again, you probably have a lot of individuals utilizing these FTSOs. So it's hard to say what can be done from here on out. I feel bad for a lot of those, IOU individuals that were buying IOUs here. Again, I never liked the idea of the IOU. It seemed very scammy, seemed very, very risky. And again, I really do feel bad for all those individuals that were buying this. For those XRP holders out there that are, confused or, maybe you don't like something around this, I just want to say one thing. We risk as individuals in this space, if we are participating in an airdrop, we risk something like this happening every single time. Am I going to continue to support Flair going forward? I mean, I only made a couple videos on Flair, honestly. I did do quite a bit of research initially on. A lot of it seemed great and beneficial for XRP holders, which I could definitely see why we feel betrayed because, although when we go over to what David Schwartz was saying with, what Flair was doing and all that kind of stuff, it was more so the idea that like XRP holders were only getting 15% of what they promised. The other is that it builds in a lot of monetary expansion that doesn't seem to benefit anyone. Again, there's a lot of questions around this. Like, I really just question I really just question what Flair was doing for the 2-year time frame because they could have initially told us about this, or I think the best thing that Flair probably should have done was not give out a specific percentage of what they were promising XRP holders. I think that it should have been to be determined at launch because I think that that would have been very beneficial. Again, hey, mistakes were made. What can we do going forward? Really kind of just build from there on out. Focus on the end goal, focus on the mission, and I again avoid these FTSOs. There's probably going to be a lot more of a list coming out later on. There's going to be a lot of FUD. Most likely, hey, or am I going to tell you guys to go buy Flair? Am I going to be buying Flair? No, I'm not going to, tell you guys to go buy Flair. I'm not personally buying Flair. Is it because I don't believe in it? Is it, this, that, whatever? No. I mean, you guys could do what you guys want to do. Do your own research. Make sure that you know everything about it. Make sure that you're focused on tokenomics, all that kind of stuff. Because again, the best way to succeed in this market is to always do your own research. But I figured I would give you guys my opinion on this. In my opinion, again, I don't feel betrayed. Do I think that, the Flair team made mistakes initially on? 100%. I think that going forward, they should definitely focus on, just delivering on their product because that's honestly all they can do from here on out. If the voting was centralized, like if we had a large portion of these votes coming from FTSOs, I also don't agree with that. I think that everything should be 100% fair and transparent. And with that being said, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And with that being said, if you guys enjoyed this video, if you guys would definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys have more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, up to you all. Have a beautiful day, beautiful night, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.